It was the kind of evening that settled over a small town like a thick blanket, quiet, familiar, but with secrets lurking just beneath the surface. Clara Monroe knew that in Willow Creek, appearances were never what they seemed. The train hissed to a slow stop at Willow Creek Station, the last rays of the sun catching the dusty sign that swung gently in the breeze. Clara Monroe stepped onto the platform, adjusting the brim of her wide hat. She inhaled the evening air, a mixture of damp earth, freshly cut grass, and the faint scent of burning coal from nearby chimneys. She had been summoned here by a letter, penned in precise handwriting, requesting her presence at the old Willow Creek Inn. The letter was vague, hinting only at concerns over disturbances in the town, and urging her discretion. Clara, accustomed to intrigue, had immediately packed her things and boarded the afternoon train. The town itself was small, the kind where everyone knew everyone else's business, or so they believed. Narrow streets were lined with weathered brick buildings, their shop windows reflecting the fading sun. Children scurried past, bicycles clattering over cobblestones, while an elderly man on a bench tipped his hat in greeting. Yet beneath the quaint charm, Clara sensed a tension she couldn't yet name. The Willow Creek Inn loomed ahead, a sprawling building of dark wood and fading paint, its windows glowing warmly from within. A lantern swayed gently by the front door. Clara's footsteps echoed on the porch as she entered, greeted by the rich aroma of wood polish and the faint tang of a fireplace. Behind the counter stood Mrs. Agnes Carrington, the innkeeper, a stern woman in her late 50s. Her eyes, sharp and inquisitive, studied Clara as if weighing the worth of her visit. "Detective Monroe," she said, voice firm but not unkind. "I wasn't sure you'd come." "I always follow a summons," Clara replied, offering a polite smile. "And I believe you requested discretion." Agnes nodded. "Yes, indeed. We've had unusual happenings, and I fear they may escalate if left unchecked. Strange noises at night, missing objects, and whispers that unsettle the guests." Clara's eyes narrowed. "Whispers? Do you mean rumors or something more tangible?" "Both," Agnes said, lowering her voice. "Guests have spoken of shadows moving in corridors, letters appearing where they shouldn't be, and a sense that someone is always watching. Some think it's just superstition, but I do not." Clara's curiosity piqued. "I'll need to see these occurrences firsthand. Show me the rooms, the halls, and any places where you've noticed anomalies." Agnes led her through the dimly lit inn, the floorboards creaking with each step. Guests lingered in the lounge, casting curious glances toward Clara. There was a subdued tension, polite but palpable. In the corner of the lounge, a fireplace glowed, and the flicker of its flames seemed to create moving shadows along the walls, as if whispering secrets of their own. As they ascended the narrow staircase, Clara noted the careful placement of rugs, the polished railings, and the small scratches along the banisters, subtle signs of frequent use, or perhaps something more deliberate. At the top of the stairs, a door at the end of the hall stood slightly ajar. Agnes hesitated. "That room, it belongs to Mr. Ellsworth. He's a newcomer. But, well, some say they've heard him speaking to himself at odd hours. Strange things happen in that room." Clara's pulse quickened. A new arrival, unusual behavior, and a partially open door, all the hallmarks of a mystery begging to be solved. As Clara approached the door, she heard it, a soft, deliberate whisper from inside. "Detective Monroe, I've been waiting for you. In every small town, some rooms are meant to be left unopened." Clara Monroe knew that the partially ajar door at Willow Creek Inn held more than a curious guest. It held the first piece of a carefully hidden puzzle. Clara Monroe paused at the threshold of Mr. Ellsworth's room. The whisper had ceased, but an uneasy silence filled the corridor. She noticed the doorknob was slightly worn, the keyhole polished from frequent use. Someone had been very deliberate in leaving it ajar. She turned to Agnes Carrington. "Has anyone else entered this room recently?" "Not that I know of," Agnes replied, frowning. "Guests respect privacy and Mr. Ellsworth keeps to himself. But some have claimed to hear papers shuffling at night, and objects moving on their own." Clara raised an eyebrow. "Objects moving?" Agnes nodded. "Small things. A chair slightly turned, a book misplaced, but nothing of true value is ever taken. Still, it unsettles people." Clara took a deep breath and entered the room. The air was slightly warmer than the corridor, scented faintly of old books and pipe tobacco. Light from the single window illuminated a modest space, A bed neatly made, a writing desk covered in papers, and a small bookcase against the far wall. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual. But Clara's eyes caught a subtle discrepancy. The rug in the center of the floor didn't lie entirely flat. She lifted one corner and discovered a small trapdoor, cleverly disguised beneath the fabric. Her pulse quickened. "Harrow," she whispered, "this room has more than meets the eye." Harrow, who had followed closely, knelt to examine the trapdoor. Ingenious hiding spot. Whoever designed this wanted it invisible to casual observation. Clara carefully lifted the trapdoor, revealing a narrow storage space beneath the floorboards. Inside were several journals, sealed envelopes, and a small, locked box. Each item appeared carefully preserved, yet the dust on the edges suggested they had been undisturbed for months. Clara picked up a journal and flipped through its pages. The handwriting was meticulous, detailing private thoughts and observations about Willow Creek. Mentions of people who had recently arrived, disputes over property, and cryptic references to a watchful eye, and those who manipulate. Harrow examined the small locked box. "This is heavy for its size," he said. "Could be valuables, or secrets someone is desperate to protect." Clara glanced at the envelopes. Each was addressed to Mr. Ellsworth, but postmarked months apart. Some were carefully typed, others handwritten, yet each bore an uncanny sense of urgency, as if warning him of impending trouble. A sudden noise, a soft tap from the corridor, made Clara freeze. "Someone's out there," she whispered. The maid, who had been observing quietly, gasped. I saw a shadow in the hallway earlier. Someone moved past my room, very fast. I didn't think it mattered." Clara's mind raced. "It matters more than you know. Someone knows we're here, someone who wants what's hidden in this room." Harrow nodded grimly. "We need to secure these items. And we need to find out who's been leaving those notes, and why." Clara carefully placed the journals and envelopes into her bag. The locked box remained, its secrets waiting, teasing them. She glanced around the room one last time. Then, from the corner of her eye, she saw it, a faint movement beneath the window. A figure, crouched in shadow, watching. And a single whispered phrase floated on the still evening air. "Don't take it, or everything will be lost." In the quiet town of Willow Creek, the smallest discoveries often revealed the largest secrets. Clara Monroe knew that the journals and locked box in Mr. Ellsworth's room were just the beginning. Tonight, the first clue would lead her deeper into a mystery that had haunted the town for decades. Clara Monroe secured the journals and envelopes in her bag, careful not to disturb the order. She studied the locked box again, noting its intricate brass lock and the faint initials engraved on its top. "E.W." She frowned. "Ellsworth, or someone else?" Harrow knelt beside her. "These initials are deliberate. Whoever placed the box here wanted the right person to find it. And judging by the craftsmanship, this box has history. It's not something purchased yesterday." Clara nodded. "Then it's not just the contents that matter, it's why it's here, and why now." She glanced at the window, where the shadow had flickered moments ago. Whoever had been watching from outside, or even inside, clearly knew the significance of the room and its hidden items. "We should document everything," Clara said. She flipped open one of the journals, skimming the entries. There were notes about the inn, its guests, and references to the watchful one, and the hidden passage. One entry caught her attention. "The first clue lies where water meets stone. Only the observant will understand." Clara tapped the page. "A clue, but where?" Harrow frowned. "Water and stone, the creek, maybe? Or the stonework inside the inn?" Clara considered the layout of Willow Creek Inn. A small fountain graced the lobby, a marble hearth adorned the lounge, and just beyond the inn, Willow Creek itself wound through the town. She realized that the message was deliberately cryptic, intended to test the finder's observation and reasoning. The maid, who had been nervously watching, spoke up. "The creek, it's right behind the inn. People say strange things happen near it at night, lights, sounds, whispers." Clara's pulse quickened. "Then that's where we begin. We need to see if this first clue is literal, or if it points to something hidden nearby." They exited the inn quietly, stepping onto the damp cobblestones. The evening air was cool, and the gentle rustle of leaves mingled with the distant murmur of the creek. Clara's lantern cast a soft glow, illuminating the edges of the water and the stones along the bank. She crouched beside a large boulder partially submerged in the creek. Her fingers traced the moss-covered surface, noting irregularities. Something had been deliberately placed here, or removed. She could feel it in the subtle disturbances of the soil and rocks. Harrow leaned closer. There's a cavity beneath the stone, a small indentation. Clara reached in and retrieved a small, folded piece of paper. She opened it carefully. Written in the same elegant script as the envelopes in Ellsworth's room was a single message. Look for the heart of Willow Creek. Only then will the path forward be clear. She frowned. The heart of the creek, not a literal heart, of course. But something central, vital, hidden from view. Perhaps a place where the water's flow changes, or a landmark no one notices. Harrow's eyes scanned the creek. There. See that stone arch across the water? It's old, almost forgotten. Locals pass by without thinking. Could that be it? Clara's eyes lit up. Exactly. That's our next destination. Whatever is hidden there will lead us to more of the story. Someone is guiding us carefully, testing our wit and perception. But we are following the trail now. As they prepared to cross the creek toward the stone arch, a faint splash echoed behind them, and a whisper floated through the night air. You're closer than you think, but not all secrets want to be found. The creek whispered secrets as Clara Monroe approached the old stone arch, each ripple carrying a hint of what lay hidden. She knew that in Willow Creek, history had a way of leaving clues where only the observant could find them. Clara Monroe and Harrow stepped carefully over the wet stones, lantern casting flickering light across the water's surface. The stone arch loomed ahead, half covered with ivy and moss, weathered by decades of wind and rain. Its stones, though sturdy, were uneven, and some bore faint scratches, evidence that someone had been here before them. Clara knelt and examined the base of the arch. Small markings etched into the stone caught her attention, a series of subtle lines forming a pattern. Harrow, she said, these marks, they're deliberate. Not natural wear. Someone is leaving breadcrumbs for us. Harrow leaned in, peering at the pattern. It looks like a map, perhaps. Or directions of some kind. Clara traced the scratches with her finger. A clue. Whoever left it wanted only someone paying attention to find the next step. This is clever, almost theatrical, but precise. She moved closer to the water, noticing that one stone near the creek's edge was slightly loose. With a careful tug, she dislodged it, revealing a small metal box tucked beneath. She opened it carefully, revealing a key and a folded note. Clara unfolded the note. In elegant, familiar handwriting, it read, "The lock that guards the past opens where the light first touches the manor at dawn. Only then will the truth reveal itself." Harrow whistled softly. So the journals, the lockets, the stone markings, it's all part of a trail leading to the inn. The light at dawn. That's when the final piece becomes visible. Clara nodded. Exactly. Whoever orchestrated this wanted us to follow, step by step, using our perception and patience. It's a puzzle, but one with purpose. The key was small, made of brass, engraved with the initials WC. Clara examined it thoughtfully. WC, Willow Creek, perhaps? Or the inn itself? Harrow glanced around the creek. Could be both. It's a central point, the arch, the water, the path back to the inn. Whoever designed this knew exactly how to guide a determined investigator. As they replaced the stone, ensuring the box remained hidden from casual observers, Clara glanced up at the arch. The moonlight gleamed off the ivy, casting intricate shadows across the mossy stones. Somewhere in the darkness, she sensed a presence, someone watching them, guiding and observing. The maid's voice trembled from behind. "Miss Monroe, what if someone sees us?" Clara turned and smiled reassuringly. "Then we'll deal with them. But right now, we are following the trail. Each step brings us closer to understanding the secret hidden in this town." They retraced their steps across the creek, the key secure in Clara's bag. As they approached the inn, the first rays of dawn began to pierce the horizon, brushing the windows with a pale golden light. Clara's heart raced, the note's instructions seemed imminent. As the sunlight touched the main window of the inn, a sudden click echoed from the front door, and Clara realized that someone inside had unlocked a passage she had not yet discovered, one that would reveal the next, critical secret of Willow Creek. In every old building, there are corners where shadows linger longer, where secrets are carefully tucked away. Clara Monroe knew Willow Creek Inn held more than whispers. Behind one hidden door, the past waited to reveal itself. Clara Monroe stood by the front window as the first morning rays touched the inn's facade. The key they had discovered at the stone arch burned faintly in her pocket, a reminder that the trail was far from over. She turned to Harrow. "Ready to see what this passage leads to?" she asked. Harrow nodded. "I have a feeling it's more than just a hallway." The click from the front door had echoed moments ago, suggesting someone inside had deliberately unlocked it. Clara moved cautiously, guiding Harrow and the maid toward the grand entrance. She inspected the door frame and noticed a faint seam in the wood, a hidden panel, easily overlooked by casual visitors. "This is it," Clara whispered. She pressed gently, and the panel swung inward, revealing a narrow passage cloaked in darkness. The air was cooler here, carrying a faint scent of old cedar and dust, as if it had been sealed for decades. The maid shivered. I've never seen this before. Is it safe?" Clara offered a reassuring smile. "It will be, as long as we remain alert. Every secret has a guardian, but tonight, we'll uncover the truth." They entered the passage, the lantern's glow revealing worn stone walls and a narrow, descending staircase. Each step creaked underfoot, the sound echoing softly into the depths below. Clara paused midway, noting small scratches along the handrail, almost like a coded message. Harrow leaned in to examine them. "These aren't random. Someone has been here before us. Perhaps recently." Clara traced the marks with her fingers. "Yes. And whoever left them wanted to guide the observant. They didn't expect a casual wanderer, only someone determined, patient, and careful." At the bottom of the staircase, the passage opened into a small, square chamber. Its walls were lined with shelves, filled with journals, ledgers, and documents long forgotten by the town above. The air was still, almost reverent, as if the secrets had waited patiently for discovery. Clara moved to a small desk at the center of the room. On it lay a series of envelopes, each addressed to different townspeople, carefully dated. Some were old, yellowed with age, while others were fresh, written in the same elegant script as the key's note. She picked one up. The contents were cryptic yet deliberate. References to property disputes, long-buried grievances, and veiled warnings. The handwriting was precise, controlled, as if every word had been carefully measured to convey meaning without revealing too much. Harrow examined a ledger. "These records, they're complete. Someone has meticulously documented events in this town, tracking interactions, disputes, and relationships for decades." Clara nodded. "And it explains the recent disturbances, the whispers, the shadows. Someone is using history as a tool, and they've left clues to ensure the right people find it." The maid's voice trembled. "So, all of this, all these secrets, have been hidden here, waiting for someone to uncover them?" "Yes," Clara said softly. "And now, we're the ones to bring the story to light, carefully, patiently, and without causing harm." As Clara opened one of the envelopes, a sudden gust of air swept through the passage, extinguishing the lantern's flame. In the darkness, a whisper sounded directly in her ear. "Not all secrets are meant to be found, but some demand it." In the hidden chamber beneath Willow Creek Inn, Clara Monroe realized that some messages were meant not just to inform, but to test, and tonight, a single letter would challenge everything she thought she knew. Clara Monroe relit the lantern, casting a soft glow across the dusty shelves of the hidden chamber. Harrow and the maid flanked her, their eyes wide with anticipation. The whisper still lingered in her mind, a warning or a challenge. She picked up a neatly folded envelope from the desk. Unlike the others, this one was sealed with red wax, stamped with an unfamiliar crest. The handwriting was sharp, deliberate, almost cold. Clara's instincts told her that this letter held the key to understanding why the journals, the key, and the hidden passage existed. Carefully, she broke the seal and unfolded the letter. The words were brief, cryptic, and unsettling. "The truth is closer than you imagine. Watch the shadows, trust the unseen, and beware the one who smiles too easily. The heart of Willow Creek reveals itself only to the patient." Clara's brow furrowed. "This is more than a warning, it's a riddle. Someone here wants us to notice patterns, to pay attention to subtle details." "But who? And why?" Harrow stepped closer, examining the letter. "Could it be Mr. Ellsworth? Or perhaps the innkeeper herself?" Clara shook her head. "I don't think it's any of them. Whoever wrote this has knowledge beyond what we've seen. They know about the creek, the arch, the journals, even the hidden passage. They are orchestrating a game, and we're meant to follow it." The maid shivered. "Do you think it's dangerous?" Clara gave her a reassuring glance. "Potentially. But it's also revealing the path forward. Every clue, every letter, every subtle mark is guiding us to the heart of the mystery. And we must follow carefully. She examined the room once more. Her eyes lingered on the shelves of journals and ledgers, noting the subtle differences in handwriting and paper types. Each entry seemed deliberate, almost like a breadcrumb trail. She pulled one of the older journals and found a margin note, written in the same precise hand as the letter. Observe the morning sun. Where it first touches the manor, secrets will be exposed. Clara's pulse quickened. The dawn light, that's our next step. The letter confirms it. Everything points to the manor at sunrise. Whoever left this wants us to witness something, or find something, at that exact moment. Harrow nodded. Then we wait. Carefully, and with eyes wide open. Clara placed the letter in her coat pocket and stepped back to examine the chamber one last time. The subtle creaks of the inn above reminded her that time was fleeting. Someone else might be moving through the halls, watching their progress. Outside, the first hints of dawn began to creep over the horizon, brushing Willow Creek with a pale glow. Clara knew that soon, the light would touch the window of the inn, and reveal the next crucial clue. A sudden noise startled them, a soft metallic click from the passageway behind the desk. Clara froze, lantern raised. From the shadows, a hand emerged, holding a small, ornate key with the initials WC engraved upon it. The key to a secret room none of them had yet discovered. In Willow Creek, the smallest keys could unlock the largest mysteries. Clara Monroe held the brass key tightly, knowing it would open a door to the past, a room that had been hidden for decades and whose contents could change everything. Clara Monroe held the small brass key in her palm, its cool metal glinting in the lantern light. The initials WC were etched carefully, polished from use. She looked at Harrow and the maid. "This is it," she said. "Whatever awaits behind that door, it has been hidden intentionally. And it has waited for the right moment, and for the right eyes." They moved cautiously through the inn, past the familiar hallways, toward the far end of the upper corridor. The key fit neatly into a small, unassuming door set into the wall, one that had never drawn attention before. Clara turned it slowly, the lock clicking with a satisfying, almost ceremonial sound. The door swung open to reveal a narrow room, no larger than a study. Dust motes danced in the first rays of morning light streaming through a small, high window. The walls were lined with shelves, packed with ledgers, journals, and bundles of letters. A large wooden desk dominated the center, upon which sat an assortment of documents tied with faded ribbons. Clara stepped inside, heart racing. This is the heart of the mystery," she whispered. Harrow examined the shelves. "Someone has meticulously preserved everything. Records, letters, personal accounts, it's a chronicle of Willow Creek." Clara ran her fingers over the desk, lifting envelopes and untying ribbons. Each bundle was labeled with dates, names, and subtle codes. The careful organization revealed the hand of someone methodical, someone who had painstakingly tracked events and people for years. Among the papers, a single envelope caught her eye. It was newer than the others, addressed simply to The Observer. She carefully opened it and pulled out a letter. "The truth is not hidden by walls, but by the choices of those who walk these halls. Read carefully, trust your instincts, and follow the path you have already begun. Those who acted with integrity will understand. Others will falter." Clara's eyes narrowed. "This confirms it. The person guiding us has a plan. And they are testing our judgment, not just our observation." Harrow picked up a small journal, its leather worn soft. He flipped through the pages, his expression shifting from curiosity to concern. "These entries, they name names. Townspeople, guests at the inn, even recent arrivals. And they document events that, well, they make the strange occurrences tonight much clearer." Clara nodded. "Someone has been documenting conflicts, minor thefts, disagreements, even secret romances. It's a record of human behavior, hidden until someone attentive enough could uncover it. The key, the letters, the clues at the creek and the arch, all part of a guided discovery." The maid trembled slightly. "But why all this secrecy? Why hide it instead of resolving the problems?" Clara considered the question. Sometimes, history cannot be altered. But it can be observed, understood, and learned from. Whoever created this room wanted the right person to see the truth, to piece together the story responsibly. As she organized the papers, Clara felt a presence behind her, someone moving silently in the doorway. A calm, measured voice broke the silence. "Detective Monroe, you found my room. But can you uncover everything before the past claims another secret? Some faces hide more than expressions. They conceal motives, histories, and the deepest truths." Clara Monroe knew that within Willow Creek Inn, one guest's identity had been carefully masked, and tonight, the truth would step into the light. Clara Monroe turned slowly, her lantern illuminating the doorway. The figure standing there was familiar, yet there was something different, an air of hesitation, almost guilt. Harrow stepped beside her, hand resting lightly on the lantern to steady it. "Who are you?" Clara asked, her voice firm but calm. The figure hesitated. Then, with a deep breath, removed a hat and scarf, revealing a face she had seen in town but never fully recognized. It was Mr. Ellsworth himself, though his appearance seemed older, his eyes carrying years of secrets. "Detective Monroe," he said, voice measured, "I suppose the time has come to reveal who I really am, and why I've led you on this path." Clara nodded, attentive. "Go on. I need the truth." Ellsworth took a step forward. "I am not merely a newcomer to Willow Creek. I am the caretaker of its hidden history. My family has lived in these shadows for generations, recording events, protecting secrets, and ensuring that the town's legacy is preserved. I came under a false name to observe, to guide the right person without influencing them too directly." Harrow frowned. "So all the letters, the journals, the clues, they were part of your plan?" Ellsworth nodded. "Yes. Each was a step to test discernment, patience, and integrity. The hidden passage, the stone arch, even the journals themselves, all designed to see who would approach the truth responsibly. And you, Detective Monroe, have proven observant, careful, and thoughtful." Clara's eyes narrowed. "But why risk confusion, fear, even danger for the guests? Some could have been hurt." Ellsworth's expression darkened. "I underestimated the effect of my actions. The test was never meant to cause harm, only to uncover the observer capable of understanding the town's true story. Yet, risks are always present when truths are hidden for decades." Clara glanced at Harrow, then back to Ellsworth. "So the disturbances, the whispers, the missing objects, the notes, all staged to some degree?" "Guided," Ellsworth corrected gently. "Every shadow, every note, every hidden item, carefully placed to direct attention without dictating conclusions. The past cannot be rewritten, but it can be illuminated for those willing to see clearly." Clara opened one of the journals she had collected from the secret room. The entries now made sense. Records of town disputes, secrets of families, small betrayals, and acts of kindness, all catalogued over decades by Ellsworth's family. Harrow muttered, "And all of this, just waiting for someone like Clara to arrive?" "Yes," Ellsworth replied. "I needed someone outside the town's immediate circle. Someone who could see without bias, who could observe without influence. You were that person." Clara studied him carefully. "Then the final test, the key, the letters, the hidden room. There is one last secret to uncover, isn't there?" Ellsworth's lips curved into a subtle, knowing smile. "Yes, Detective Monroe. One last secret remains, and it is closer than you think. But revealing it will change the way you see Willow Creek forever. Every journey has a moment when the pieces finally align." Clara Monroe knew that the last secret of Willow Creek Inn awaited her, and that uncovering it would reveal truths long hidden from the town, and even from herself. Clara Monroe's fingers traced the brass key she had discovered at the stone arch. It was WC, just like the initials on the secret room. She looked at Ellsworth, now standing quietly near the doorway. "The last secret," she said, "is this key?" Ellsworth nodded. "Yes, Detective Monroe. It opens a place where my family's history and the town's intertwined pasts converge. Only someone who has followed the trail responsibly can unlock it." Harrow leaned closer. "And you trust Clara to do that?" Ellsworth's gaze softened. "I do. She has demonstrated patience, courage, and integrity. Qualities necessary to see the truth and respect it." Clara examined the key carefully, recalling the stone arch, the hidden passage, and the journals. "Then let's see where it leads." They moved back toward the main hall of the inn. The early morning sun illuminated the windows, casting long shadows across the polished floors. Clara followed Ellsworth down the corridor to a section of the inn that had seemed ordinary before, the old storage room near the kitchen. He knelt by a cabinet, lifting a hidden panel. Inside was a small, locked chest, brass fittings gleaming in the morning light. Clara inserted the key. The lock clicked open smoothly, revealing a collection of artifacts, letters, and documents, the complete story of Willow Creek's past. She lifted a bundle of letters, carefully tied with a ribbon. They told of generations of families, town disputes, secret alliances, and quiet acts of heroism. Other items included maps, photographs, and personal mementos, each piece carefully preserved by Ellsworth's family. Clara felt a profound sense of awe. This was more than a secret, it was a chronicle of human behavior, choices, and consequences, a treasure of history hidden in plain sight. Harrow examined a ledger. All of this, it's incredible. The planning, the documentation, decades of observation and preservation. Ellsworth smiled faintly. It was never meant to be merely hidden. It was meant to be discovered by someone who could understand its significance and protect it responsibly. Clara carefully organized the contents. It explains everything, the whispers, the letters, the hidden passages. Each clue was part of a guided path to ensure the right observer would uncover the truth. The maid, who had followed closely, whispered, "So, it's all been waiting for someone to find it? For the town to finally understand?" "Yes," Clara said softly. "And now that we've found it, the story of Willow Creek is preserved, not through secrecy alone, but through careful guidance and responsibility." As she replaced the final bundle in the chest, Clara noticed a folded envelope at the bottom, addressed simply, "For the observer." She opened it to reveal a single line of writing, in the same precise hand as the other letters. "The past is revealed to those who see clearly, but the future depends on what you do with the truth." A quiet weight settled in the room. Clara realized that while the mysteries of Willow Creek had been uncovered, the responsibility of what to do next rested entirely in her hands. The sun rose over Willow Creek, painting the town in soft gold. Clara Monroe knew that mysteries could be solved, secrets could be revealed, and yet some responsibility remained, a quiet burden that came with uncovering the truth. Clara Monroe carefully closed the brass chest, its contents safely preserved. She turned to Ellsworth, who had stepped back, observing silently. The hidden room, the letters, and the carefully laid clues had all led to this moment, a culmination of years of planning and decades of secrets. "You've done well, detective," Ellsworth said, voice calm but measured. "You've followed the path, observed carefully, and uncovered truths that most would have overlooked. The town's history, the hidden events, the personal stories, they are now in the right hands." Clara nodded. "It's a remarkable legacy, and one that must be protected. Not everyone can handle this knowledge responsibly. But the town deserves to know its past, even if only a portion can be revealed without stirring unrest." Harrow stepped forward. "And what of you, Ellsworth? You've orchestrated all of this in secret, guiding someone to uncover it all. What now?" Ellsworth's expression softened, a trace of a smile appearing. "Now, I step back. The role of the observer has been fulfilled. The past is preserved, and the future depends on those who choose to act with understanding. You, Detective Monroe, have proven capable. The rest is up to the town." Clara glanced at the maid, whose eyes were wide with both wonder and relief. "And you? You witnessed all of this. What will you do?" The maid took a deep breath. "I'll help in any way I can. Make sure the town understands what's important, what should be preserved, and what can remain private." The morning sun climbed higher, spilling golden light across the walls of the inn. Clara felt the warmth on her face, and with it, the quiet satisfaction of a case fully unraveled. The path had been winding, filled with cryptic notes, hidden passages, and carefully placed clues, but the journey had led to clarity, and the truth had been honored. She turned to Harrow. Every step mattered. From the creek to the stone arch, from the hidden passage to the secret room. Each clue was deliberate, and each test was designed to reveal not just the past, but the character of those who sought it. Harrow nodded. "And you've proven, as always, that observation, patience, and careful reasoning can uncover what others cannot." "It's been enlightening." Clara smiled. "Indeed. And it's a reminder that secrets, like shadows, exist not just to be hidden, but to be understood, by those willing to look closely and act responsibly." Ellsworth began to leave the room quietly. "Take care, detective. Willow Creek has many stories, and some are still waiting to be told. But for now, the past is safe, and the present is yours to steward." Clara watched him disappear into the hallway, then looked at Harrow and the maid. "It's time to close this chapter, and let the town awaken to a new day, one built on understanding, responsibility, and the careful revelation of truth. The inn settled into a gentle quiet. The journals, letters, and hidden artifacts remained preserved. The town of Willow Creek would gradually learn of its history, guided by those capable of respecting it. And Clara Monroe, ever the careful observer, knew that her work here was done, for now. As she stepped onto the dew-kissed porch, the morning sun reflecting off the creek, Clara felt a profound sense of closure. In the end, mysteries were solved not only by finding what was hidden, but by understanding the people, choices, and intentions behind the secrets. A lesson that would linger far longer than the whispers of Willow Creek.